Hey there. As I've said about this channel and these videos I make, they are mainly to get stuff out of my head. And for example, today on this walk, I've walked 45 minutes already. Nice and quiet, not much going on in the head, but a few things crop up. And then just like, going number two, I make a video to get them out. And apparently on YouTube now I'm getting more views. The algorithm or something has changed. So getting more comments today than usually I do get. And the hardcore viewers of this channel, there's about 100 maybe, something like that. And perhaps they know my artwork or they're customers or friends or whatever, and it's like, that's great. But I'm not actively looking for, more viewers or to build subscribers or click at the bottom or like. I never do any of that. So anyway, one thing I wanted to mention today about social media, and of course it includes comments on YouTube videos. I have a little piece of advice for people. Now, some comments are, useful, illuminating, interesting information. Other comments are basically derogatory, insulting, perhaps in an oblique fashion, but nonetheless, they are. And what I would say is my advice to people who are giving advice is don't say anything to anyone online that you wouldn't say to their face. And I think what you'll find is that will create an awful lot of shut up, because a lot of the things people say, they wouldn't say to someone's face. You just absolutely wouldn't do it. It would be incredibly rude. So anyway, there's a lot of that out there because people in their phones, they think, oh, the phone's part of my brain and whatever's going on in my brain is connected to the phone. And, it's okay to say whatever. And it's like, no, it's really not. And, the other day, for example, on Facebook, I posted a painting I've done of Slash, and someone out of the blue commented and said, "Not your best work." And I didn't know who they were. They weren't a friend or anything. And tell me something I don't know. It's not meant to be my best work. It's meant to go up on eBay, starting at $1.95, basically. So I didn't put days and days worth of work into it intentionally. So for one thing, you're not telling me anything I don't already know. But my point is that didn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't even come into it, because I already know my work pretty much better than anyone else. Not to sound like I'm bragging, but I do. I understand it. So when someone says something like that, then, it's very likely that they're going to say it to someone else, and someone else's feelings are going to be hurt. Some young person, perhaps, an artist, budding artist that needs more approval and accolades, and you're going to be rude and insulting and dump your crap on them, And it's all sort of a way to appear to be knowledgeable, smarter than you, things like that. And as you may know, hell, I might as well go here too, but a lot of my videos are concerned with enlarging your perspective. So I look at things through all sorts of lenses, science, but also anthropology, psychology, systems theory, all sorts of things. And I do that because I'm not tethered to one. I can alternate between whichever ones that I like, dependent upon what the situation or the problem or the issue requires. So here again, comment this morning, someone says, you seem like a nice guy, but your perspective, you're missing something. Good luck. And it's like, well, what is the perspective that I'm missing? So why don't you supply more information? Be concise about what you're talking about. rather than just make a judgment, a snap judgment with no information to support it. And of course, I scratched my head for about 10 seconds. And then I realized it's like, well, the perspective that I'm missing is probably Christ, religion, something like that. Because that is the thing that someone would have second thoughts about mentioning in some cases. You know, there again, in other cases, people just trumpet it loudly. So anyway, the views are going up, the comments are going up, and you know, basically I would rather meet someone in person and have a real conversation than do all this passing the notes under the prison door stuff. So anyway, there we are with that. Now the other thing, you know, last talk I was talking about spears, spear throwers, things like that. And I still encounter people that refer to indigenous people as being primitive, savage. And another term that comes up is cavemen. So when you think, oh, that's cute, squirrel right there. Where is it? There it is, fearless squirrel. But yeah, cavemen. So, oh, you lived in a cave, you know, it's the Flintstones, and you know, could barely speak and things like that. And it's like, you know what, if you were hiking in the Appalachians, say, something like that, and there was a terrible storm or something, and there was a cave right there, what would you do? You go get in the cave. What would you do in the cave? Might make a fire. You know, just because people use caves as shelters doesn't mean that they stayed in them all the time. And thing about caves, of course, is like in the caves, that's where all these artifacts are preserved. So yeah, you're going to see the tools, you're going to see paintings, you're going to see, you know, bones, you're going to see all these things in there. And so it's giving a false perspective that they spent all their time in there. And it's like, no, they didn't, because that's not where the bones came from. The bones came from out there. So where we are with this perspective, where we think that these people are primitive, savage, and everything else when they're happier and healthier than we are, or were, here again today we have sort of a fear culture where people are worried that the whole system's going to collapse, which could happen, or that there'll be some kind of, you know, violent militaristic takeover or something. You're going to need guns to defend yourself and things like that. And or what if the power grid fails? You know, then we're all going to be screwed. We won't be able to, you know, go to the grocery store and things like that. It's like, well, if that happens, who's primitive? Well, we are, right? So when you look out here at all these resources that you can dig right into the ground and find something to eat, you know, fish in the water, you know, you name it, animals, birds, grubs, everywhere. Something interesting about, you know, fishing, being on the water, in Australia, they know which tree to cut the bark off and then create a boat, turn that into a boat. Right, here comes someone. And, you know, is that technology? Barely, but that is a useful skill. And these days you see a lot of books and things, oh, these are survival skills that you may need, you know, and it's all sort of fear-based, that you're going to need this when the shit hits the storm. And we have things so backwards, so backwards, because when you feed at this teat of science and technology, all your abilities become weaker. Your life becomes less. Is that a large enough perspective? I hope so. Anyway, I guess I'll leave it there. And thanks for coming. Ciao.